I will stop transcription, never use that. And here we got level Revit 2025. So we can start by just creating a new template. As you know, has been mentioned, we're going to create our own file because we can then control fully what we do within that file. And how we do it is we go into the first page here. You have models and new model. If you would have kind of this kind of view, some can start with that, not showing the recent page, it's fine. Good thing with Revit is almost every Windows keyboard shortcuts works here as well. So Control N for new works here as well to kind of start a new project. If you get this dialog box, it's kind of our own that we can then obviously have our cloud models or cloud templates. We're not going to use that one because it's quote unquote old. So we're going to use the latest one. And you can go down here, kind of click on that one to go into the traditional browser or create new project. And we have browse here. The templates that you downloaded, hopefully, you just go to that one and select it. I already downloaded it and placed it here on my desktop. So you should find the Naviate BF 2024. That's just the version and SE because we were going to use that one. And once you selected it, just press open and it's going to upgrade for a few seconds. OK. And we'll upgrade. It shouldn't take that long, but it's a soft, let's say a soft start of doing this. So while it's upgrading, going to take different time depending on your computer, obviously. What we're going to do next, once we've done it, I usually recommend starting just by saving it. Because Revit is a software. Every software sometimes crashes. So I kind of emphasize just saving a lot so we can kind of use it or not miss anything. And when we're saving, I'm going to save on my desktop. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds. Like every folder on each company is I would say, it's often the same but different. So it's usually the case that you have a server somewhere on your company where you have a G colon, P colon, something, K colon, something. Then you often have either project name, project number, something to differentiate the different projects. You have a bunch of different projects. And within that folder, you usually have maybe one folder for documents, one for CAD, one for analysis. You have different here as well. And usually the case, if you go into like architect customers, they have a folder called Revit, BIM, CAD, something where they kind of put those files. And what we recommend, not necessary, that within this one, I usually say, create something called linked files or something like this. This is where we're going to put our links. And you can kind of put those links here. And we're going to replace those links later on. So when we get a new one, a new architect model, structure model, mechanical model, we can always just copy paste and replace these, and it will update in our model as well, kind of by default. So we're never going to have a naming convention on the files. I know a lot of people do that, especially working with PDF, that you have the PDF name and then kind of a date. You put in a date there, and then you kind of relink every time. Don't do it. Have the same name, replace. It's going to automatically update here in Revit or in AutoCAD as well. So I'm going to kind of emulate this as well by doing this. This is just a suggestion. This is how a lot of people doing it by having kind of, here's our linked files, here's our backups, here's I'm going to put mine. Brilliant. We're going to go here on File, Save As.
Sorry, just a question. Can you maybe show us an example as well? Like I'm getting your point. I would just love to see an example of, I guess, like how you manage the linked folder. And,
Yeah,
the first thing that strikes me first is that, we really do like using, dates, in front
yeah,
of, yeah, the models. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So this is kind of what I usually showcase, that we have uh, our linked files. We can have a folder for work file depending how many we have. And I usually create something like export within kind of the cat folder. And within this one, what I say, linked files, here where I have my architect model. And me personally like having um, like the history, backups, whatever you want to call it here, just in the same folder. So we can, when we download something new, we create a folder
Mhm.
where we have the date. So I know, okay, this is the date I downloaded.
Mhm.
And if you want to write something, that's fine, or whatever you want to write here. I call this first delivery and second delivery. And here we would have kind of, here's my architect model. I would copy this, paste it up here to replace it,
Mhm.
and then it would be there. When I get my second delivery, I would just create the new date and call it something if you want. And here I can have an updated version. And here
Right.
I as well kind of
Mhm.
simulated, I downloaded a mechanical model now because now I had a mechanical model. I would
Mhm.
simply select this, copy to clipboard, go up to linked files, and replace.
Makes
And then I would
sense.
have
Okay.
it.
Mhm.
Uh, this is kind of what I like to do because then you can kind of see everything. You don't have some projects have a project lifetime of several years. I'm not saying that you need to save the first delivery and 22nd delivery all by one, but it would be fine. It's often saved as well in the cloud where we SharePoint where we have it. But I usually say have 3 versions back perhaps. You can kind of see what have happened and kind of can double check instead of always needing to go online. Even though most project portals actually have this right now with version handling, etc. So this is kind
Really
of what
cool.
yeah. So this is kind of what I like. Very straightforward. Um, it's not me who actually figured this out. It was kind of when I started working, ancient, all those years ago. But we can go back here to Revit. You can go to File, Save As, and we can go to Project. Uh, Maybe Oliver mentioned it or showed it. We can do kind of oversimplify. We can do two kind of projects: work sharing projects and normal project. Work sharing projects, we can work several people within that project, or normal file, saving that. We're going to do a normal file because in most projects, we're never going to be more than one in design at the same time. We don't have that issue as a fire engineer. As an architect, you rarely have just and only a project. You usually have several architects working in that file at the same time. But as fire engineer, we usually are alone when we're working. Not always, but this would, I would say, 85%, this will be fine. Then we got cloud models, which is when you're working Autodesk Construction Cloud. We're going to ignore that for now. But we can just say save project. In my case, I had on my desktop. You might have it anywhere else. I have a folder called course. I just will name this. And this is I don't know if in Hungary you have a naming convention, a standardized naming convention for files for different disciplines.
Well, we do, but I also think that, or I assume that this also depends on the office, right?
Mm. So because depending, different regions have different naming. So in Sweden, Finland, and Denmark, we have kind of a rigid naming convention always for that discipline. So we have, if this would be, B for fire, 99 for
Okay, I
fire,
see.
yeah, V for volume, 000. That is not a part. This entire building. Uh, so this is kind of how we do it always. And architect would be A, and they have number 40. So it's weird as well. Like architect, it means the same thing. But I'm going to be very simplified and just write fire safety model. Sometimes the project has a specific name. Name it according to the BIM execution plan. I usually do like this, but what I always do in the very end is I actually add a suffix to my naming convention. I write R for Revit and the version, which my cursor were in the way, and the version. So you can see on the naming convention which Revit version it is. So I don't have to go and open a Revit and select it, because as Olivier has mentioned, it's not backwards compatible. You can always upgrade, but you can't downgrade. So it's very good to have it in the name. You can see directly which version it is. You don't have to open Revit beforehand. Yeah, and then you just go on save. We will save it. And this will save the model. Once it's saved for everyone, you can go on the very top. We have a little house, which is the default 3D view. You can open that 3D view. You have the same house under the tab View and 3D. You can even press here. It's the same button, Quick Access. So you can open the 3D view so you can see that one. And in our template, we have one level that is minus 10 meters. And that is just basically we need to have a level. I call it base level. I did that and I hope that like no one calls their level base level. I have a unique name. I have to have it. So that hence why it's there and why it's kind of below water level minus 10 meters. But now we want to link, and we want to link two files. We want to link the existing or structural model and the architect model. And how we do it is very simple. We go to the tab Insert, and the far left-hand side, you have Link Revit. And then you just browse to the link models. The files that we're going to link. In my case, because I've saved them on my desktop, and I save my file and my link files already in my desktop. It's in the same folder. And we can go here and just select the one that we want to that we're going to use. We're going to link both, but we have to do them one by one. And we always do origin to origin, never change anything. If the architect has done something wrong, we will get the same error, so to speak, or something, but we always do the same. We mimic the architect bit because they are leading the project. So there will be the same mistake everywhere, but it's easier. We follow them, they should do it correctly, we will follow, and it should be correct as well. Origin to origin always, and then we press open, and that will link the file. I'm going to take a second or two to link it. Once it's linked, we're going to actually select it and pin it. By pinning it, we can't move it and we can't delete it accidentally. So it's a very nifty feature of not accidentally moving anything from the space where it actually resides.
Just a quick question. So the project that we are linking right now, is it the one that FS? Oh yeah, that's the one that they sent, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
And I attached the
structural model as well
part into the main model. Is it gonna insert it in the same time, or should we insert it
one by one?
apart?
So, apart. So we have to select first the first one, then we need to go back to Insert Link Revit and select the other one again. So one by one. But before we do the second one, what I usually do is I actually select this one, and in the ribbon we had kind of the pin. So we pin it so we don't accidentally move it. If you press pin, you can see it's pinned here. This kind of symbols appears. I rarely take a look at it, but you can kind of see it if it's pinned or not. But what you can do, if you think you have pinned it, you can try pressing delete on your keyboard. You will get a warning. Pinned objects cannot be deleted. To delete them, unpin them, and then delete. So it's very smart because we can't move it, we can't delete it. It's there. It's always going to be in the same place, the correct place that we're going to work with. Then we can press escape to kind of deselect it. We go back to link Revit and select the new one. So we go here, and I had the one that's called education, and we do the same. Origin to origin, sorry. The other one, existing. Origin to origin, I will do the same, select it and pin it. You see kind of a large red box around the house, as you can see. It's actually several large red boxes. What that is actually they're using a volume or geometry to kind of define data within that geometry. So they could say, for instance, this front they call maybe part 1 and part 2, 3. I don't know what they're calling them, but they call them different, and they can assign values in every object within them using third-party applications. And that is what they're using them for. They're not the only one. I have no clue that is the only reason why you kind of do those things globally. It's because Revit only checks the entire model itself. So if you want to check information on certain parts just to calculate those, if you use these kind of volumes, use third-party application to add a value to everything within it. And now we select the existing, and I will pin that as well. You can kind of select one of the roof thingies and then press OK. Everyone to manage, you can do a thumbs up in the chat or the reaction. You have a reaction in next to the raise hand. You can do that. Brilliant, Janos. You guys who are too busy and just listening, it's fine. You don't have to do it. Is it only Janos who's...
So it seems that for Janos, it's working and it's already linked, but for me, it's still linking. So like, it's still in the upgrade process. So the upgrade and the linking process. So, but go ahead. I'll try to catch up.
Yeah, I will go slowly forward. Brilliant. So now we have, so now we have the two, we kind of see the links. The first thing we want to do actually is kind of, well, not first, we're going to fix a few things first, but what we want to do is grab the levels. But because this is a refurbished house, we need to fix the facing because we have existing, we have new. And how we do that is that we select one of the links and go to edit types. And in edit types, we have a bunch of different parameters that we can adjust for the project. But I usually go with a sneakier way, and that is in the project browser, which if you have by default, you kind of have on the very bottom here. If you move it around, it's fine. But in project browser, you have in the very bottom called Revit links. Here's all the links in the project, Revit links in the project. If you double click on one of these, it will open type properties. It's open in my second screen. I'll grab it here. But just double click is an easier or faster way to go into edit types or type parameters. Here we want to do two things. Room bounding, we're going to use the model itself to use their walls as our walls. So you're going to behave. Then we're going to go down all the way down here on the very bottom on type properties. We have face mapping. And here we can say, if you open it, here we can map. My existing is their existing. And what we see existing here is literally just they've written, what should you call phase 1? It could have said something here in Hungarian. It could be called phase 1, starting, finish. It's just a free text that you put in. So we never know what they have done in the links, but we are just using English, basic English of existing and new construction. And we just make sure that they match. And here it looks good. So we go OK, still room bounding, and we press OK again. And we can jump to existing and double click and do the same. Room bounding, and we go face mapping, and it looks good. Kind of as I mentioned in the beginning, this architect and structure model are very forgiving because they're using the starting face names and they actually have a really good face filters. So it's super easy for us. But I will show as well, because one thing that sadly Revit are not the smartest, let's say, and that is kind of what we want to show with faces, because what we're using is something called face filter. And by that is basically we say a filter saying, okay, I want to see existing object in a certain way. I want to see new objects in another way. We want to hide everything that is demolished, or well, if I want to do another face filter, could be I want to show everything that's been demolished. So we're going to highlight those differently. And for this to work with links, the naming convention of our filters and the links filter needs to be the same. So in this case, they're using the standard ones that comes with, so it's super simple. But how to do it in other project, you just go to manage, transfer project standards, check none, always check none, otherwise you get everything. We want to check none. And you go down to P for face. And you have face settings. And then you can press OK. So you can press OK and then overwrite. And that will take everything. In this scenario, they have identical what they had from the beginning, but this is how you do it in other projects. The face filter, as I mentioned, are here in properties on every view. So here we see show all, but in the dropdown we have our different how we want to see it. We can create these are just we can create ourselves, but we can usually just steal the one from the architect. So for instance, if I show previous face, it will hide things that are quote unquote new. Only show what's previous. And obviously, I think I saw someone show new. I think this will hide everything that's previous and only show new. And then, which looks like it, this one, new and existing, is theirs, where they have set how they want to see it. So we're going to use that one, new and existing. Brilliant. Okay, so here we're kind of starting dipping our toes into faces. Now we go into 4D with time. So congratulations, not only 3D, not only BIM, now we go into time as well with this project, making it another level of difficulties or another thing we need to keep track on. Now we want to grab the level. So if we have a new construction, a new building, we don't have to do this with faces because everything is new. It's kind of out of the box. But after this, we want to take the levels, and we want to take the levels from the architect. They kind of, quote unquote, control, or they lead what we want to see, and we're going to steal their levels. I've already gone through, so I've figured out where things are, but we're going to do the more brutal or blunt way of doing it. We're going to do it kind of grab everything, and I'm going to explain kind of the steps, what I usually do when I start this. So we have two links. We have the architect file and the structural file. And we want to hide the structural ones because we don't want to accidentally take their levels. So we can go into visibility and graphic override, which you have the keyboard shortcuts is Victor Gregor, so VG, or you have a button up here. Either way, you come into here where I had this. On the far right-hand side, because we have linked Revit links, now we have a new tab from out of the box called Revit links, where we see both links, and here we can turn them on and off. What we want to see and what we don't want to see. So within Revit links, we can just deselect existing, so we only see the architectural model. Like this. Now we can go to the tab once we only see the architect file. It's going to be easier so we don't mistakenly take or select the the structural file. We go to the tab Collaborate and something called Copy Monitor, and we're going to use the one that's called Select Link. To be honest, I never in a real project use current project, so I have difficulties mentioning why you would need this. It's basically if you want to monitoring your own things, I guess, if you want to see if something's moved, but I never used it. Maybe it's brilliant for some, I never used it. But Select Link, what's going to happen here is we're going to copy things, copy monitor, and we're going to monitor to see if something changes with the things that we copy. For our sakes, it's going to be mainly, now when we are beginning, mainly the levels, the elevations, because we want to know if they move something. If they move a story up, we want to know that and we want to follow with them. And this is kind of what this feature does. So we go with Select Link, and it's kind of tricky, but kind of hover above the link and press, and you will go into the copy monitor mode. It's going to open to a new tab. It's going to be on the right-hand side, copy monitor, it will appear. If you miss the link, I'm going to go cancel just to show. If you miss the link, it just dies, the command. It doesn't tell you that you missed something, it just dies. So you have to go back to Collaborate, copy monitor, select link again, and select the link. And see that the tab opens. We're going to go here and we're going to experience the worst UI that you probably have seen, but we will do it. In 2026, they improved it to normal, but 25 and earlier, you're going to see the horrific user interface that you have ever seen. So we want to press copy, and you need to see that you have a button below here, what's called option bar. Here you can take multiple. It's very hidden, so easy to miss. This, why they have put it here, is so strange. In 26, it's going to be up here, so you're going to see it more visually, all these. You're going to press multiple, and I'm going to do very bruntish and like hardcore, not hardcore, but I'm going to select everything. I'm going to select way more things that we need. In this model, the level are aligned perfectly. Like I can see them. They're so easy to copy, but not all projects are like this, as easy. Some are, the architect has maybe drawn some levels within the building, sometimes somewhere else. It's very badly designed. So we're going to do it kind of experiencing as it would be very poorly designed. Just go from right to left and hold down your left cursor. Means we will select everything that that box will touch. So we're going to get a lot of things like this. It's going to load and it's going to be heavy and it's going to grab a lot of things. But we kind of now make sure that we have quote unquote most levels, even though if they would be within the building and quote unquote poorly designed. But we don't want to kind of copy everything because I'm going to go with my cursor down to the right hand side down here. Here we got a faucet and we're going to see a kind of filter button. But next to it, you see 4,304 objects were selected. That's going to be all the floors, walls, grids, levels, where everything it grabs. Too many things. We don't want all of them. We only want the levels. So we're going to filter out so we can see here what we got. And we can deselect floors, walls, mechanical equipment, plumbing fixture, walls. We only select those 23 levels. And those 23 levels, we're not going to even use all of them because in this case, they have one level for the kind of architectural floor and one level for where the bottom structural floor, so they can go, when they're designing their walls, it's going to go from top of the slab to the bottom of the next slab. I've already gone through this model, did something. I did this and I kind of just checked, okay, where did they put the levels? So I kind of now just explaining what I already knew. so to say. I'm going to show you how I did it as well. But we select levels, we press OK. So now in the bottom right-hand side, we don't have 4,303. We have 23. And here, a lot of people don't press the green finish. You press the small finish next to multiple. Otherwise, it will not copy. You just finish the command without copying anything. As I mentioned, worst user interface ever designed. So this small finish, and you press it, it's going to load, it's going to copy everything from the architect, levels from the architect. This takes different, sometimes it takes longer because it's copying actually the levels itself and all the different symbols, etc., from the file. You will see this kind of CPR symbol in the middle, monitoring. All the levels are selected by default. You can pin them as well. I usually don't, but you can. I just usually press escape to deselect them, and we press finish. Once again, you can pin them. When you start, it might be useful to pin it so you don't accidentally move it. But if you would accidentally move, we would get a notification every time we start the model. You have moved a level. Are you sure? Until we kind of handle that warning. We will go through this later tomorrow because I'm going to open the architect model and go bananas, and you will see changes. I will change the levels as well. So you will literally see what's going to happen in real projects when you get a new model. Brilliant. We have the link, we have our faces, we have our levels. Now we need views to design in. If you go to the tab View, Plan Views, Floor Plan. So we're going to use floor plan mainly as in only floor plans as in 2D. We're going to do sections. We're going to do 3D views. Those are the views we're going to work with. As for now, we're not going to use reflected ceiling plans for ceiling components, but I'm going to talk a little bit about those as well. But we're going to go to floor plan. And everything is going to be on my right-hand side. Brilliant. So here we can see, I'm not even going to pronounce it, Podlushik.
Almost good. Podlushik. Yeah. It's a like soft S.
Lushik, yeah.
Shik with almost like an SH sound.
Yeah.
That's the top of like the
exactly
the top of the slab. Floor.
Yeah, and the one is bottom. I saw it and I like, okay, I know this means top and this means bottom. I understood it just by going through it. You're gonna see it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You're gonna see. Cool. Yeah, this is me kind of open a model. The language is I don't know, but it kind of figure out is usually the same. There is a logic often behind it. But here we're gonna see all the different levels that we copied all the way down here. We're gonna copy everything. We always do that, not copy. We're going to create views for all those, and we're going to start deleting. Once again, more of this model is too well done, so I'm going to kind of behave as it would be more crazy, more a less organized model. But what I just want to show here, we're going to go back a few times. Here we have all the levels that we copied. In the very top here, I have different view types for floor plan. There's nothing special about these floor plans. What I've done here is I connected a view template, meaning there's a way how I want them to look to different floor plans. Instead of copying a floor plan and changing a view template, you could do that as well. I just created different view types, attach a view template, a look that I want to the different views to make it easy for you guys. A bit more straightforward. So how we do it, we can select the first and last of this of all these levels, and then we press OK. That's going to create a view for each one of those levels. In our project browser, it just appears right now as 02 views for sheet. And this is just me, something to organize the project browser. there's nothing right or wrong. It's just mine made up something. But I want to go back and create 2 more views, because in every project, we're going to create 3 views by default, minimum of 3 that we're going to use. And it's going to be views for sheets, for views on sheets. And we go back to plan views, floor plan, and in the drop down, in the very top, we can change to modified and deleted. And once again, we can select everything. If you want, you can kind of deselect warehouse and base level, because I know we're not going to use them. But I'm going to do everything else, and we can delete everything. We're going to delete a few views later on, but we can select it. Okay. Now we got a view up here called 01 control. And we got modified and deleted. We go back to view, plan views, floor plan. And we go to unconnected, and we do the same again. Then press OK. So we're going to have 3 set of views that looks completely different of each level. And we're going to go through each one of these to see how it looks when we're actually designing. So views for sheets are views that we're going to put on sheets, and that are going to produce our PDF. We still need those PDFs. Modified and deleted is a view with a view template that colorize the different components of our components in the view based on a parameter called Naviate or NV, audit trail status. And it's going to colorize if it's smooth, it's been deleted, has a type change, whatnot. The unconnected is going to be if a component has a dash, a line, or no value at all at the parameter called NVGUID, Navigate Global Unique ID. So it's going to show us if we try to automatically connect things and it fails, we can see which objects they are. And if we manually place something, we will see those as well. Everything that is connected, it will not be visible. So we can quickly go through and kind of check, those are not connected to a component. We fix it. But that's kind of what those 2 are. We can go to 0 to views for sheets, and I got question mark, 3 question marks. Then I get floor plan. And we can double click on level 2. And we got it here. Everyone got it? Open. Janosch? Brilliant, brilliant. What I did when I kind of figured this out, I just made a section. So go to view and section, and just went straight through the building. Up to bottom or left to right. It's hidden by default in our floor plan, but it will appear here under the organization new views and section. We can open that one. And here I kind of have a section through the building, and what I did here was actually just turned on levels on visibility and graphic override, went to the tab annotation categories, went down to the levels and turned it on, and here I could see top of the level, probably where the floor the top of the level and where the walls ends. So this is I can kind of understood what they were doing here. So we only need usually the top one. The bottom one we don't really need because it's in the middle of the slab. That is kind of how I figured it out, which means we can select all those with control, and just press delete. Kind of clean it up. You don't have to delete it. I usually do it so you don't get mixed up. Then I go back to level 2. So I'm gonna sit down actually. Now, when we see in a floor plan level 2, every time we open something, it's going to open a new tab. So you kind of jump here, you can jump between different views later on. But the red ones are still kind of visible. And that one is actually a generic model. How do I know? I can go here and kind of can tab until I select it. Whether you can do it in floor plans, if you're lucky, you can kind of grab it. Or sometimes it's better to go into a 3D view where you maybe can see it easier. But you can go here and use tab, and you can kind of select it, and you can see what category it is. It's a generic model, which means we want to hide it in our floor plan. We don't want to see this. It's kind of in the way. How we turn on things where with visibility and graphic override, we turned off and on levels and the link. But if you go here in visibility and graphic override again, or VG, everything is gray. And it's great because, as I kind of mentioned, we're using view templates on these. And view templates mean we say a certain amount of views should look a certain way. We kind of set a default, and it will change everything on them. So we turn something on, it will show everywhere. If you turn something off, it will hide everywhere. I can do it from one place. And because it's gray, we can't change here. We need to go to cancel. And in the view properties, you can see which view templates is connected to that specific view. It's often in the very bottom under a grouping called identity data view template. And you can see it's called NV, Naviate, views for sheets, and we can turn, everything goes on the wrong screen. You can click on here and you can kind of see all the view templates that we have in our template. And it's built in the manner of left-hand side is all the view templates. You have all the naming. Right-hand side, everything that we can change. Here we're going to change later on scale, for instance, so it fits the sheet, so we can change the scale. We can as well go to the VG or visibility graphic override. We can go directly here. It doesn't really matter which V/G you open. It's just open a different tab. But I know I'm going to go into model, but just for a laugh of it, I'm going to open filter or import. You're just going to open a new tab in this, but you can always go back to model group. So it's not the end of the world if you select something else, but go here. And it was generic models. So you can go down to G, and you will see generic models, and it's ticked, showcasing it visible. And that's what we want to hide in every view that we're going to put on the sheet, meaning all these views for sheets. So unselect it and press OK, and then press OK again. And now it's better looking. All good? Brilliant. Okay. If we jump to, just for the fun of it, if you jump to level 3, you will see that it's actually changed here as well. So you kind of change all of our views for sheets. But if you jump in 3D, it's still visible because the 3D view is not connected to this view template, so we can control it differently. But we can jump here between all these views for sheet, everything in here, and they will have exactly the same look. Yeah, why not start level 3? It's as good as any. What we can see here it's actually missing doors, missing a few things. So we need to figure out what this is all about. Why is it not showing? I'm just going to double check that I look. It should be, yeah. Yep, exactly. Brilliant. Exactly. Delete. So how they show the doors depends on how they built door component. And I'm wondering, I need to go back here. I gotta double check one thing. I actually didn't look this beforehand. Nope. Brilliant. Go back. We can go back here for views for sheets and change how we look at doors. Sorry, here. I want to change from detail level coarse to medium. So we go back to the view template, change the detail level from coarse to medium, and press OK. And why don't we see doors this time? I'm pretty sure I've seen it. You are here. Why not? I saw you yesterday. Why didn't I see you now? 1 second. I'm just gonna be quickly just check why. Because there's something else here. You're here. You are here. You don't have to do this. I'm gonna fix this very quickly. Brilliant. How does it look in reality?
So just for your just for your information, when I turned off the generic model on the floor plan, for me everything works. It's like everything looks correct.
Okay. There's only mine.
So yeah, I don't know what it is on your end, but on my end it looks good, and I wonder if for János if it's working.
No, I can see the doors.
You can see the doors?
Yeah, I mean they are there, but I can see them in the floor plan.
Okay, I'm just gonna because you are shown in course, because I'm pretty sure I saw as well yesterday when I checked this. You're visible in course and you should be in medium fine. I can see it here. I can see you.
What's your face? Okay, your face should be good.
Show all. Could be, yeah. Could be, yeah.
It's the same for me. It's show all and the new construction for me as well.
So, because you can see, like, if I select this door and it's not visible, but I will quickly say, okay, it's here. It's here, but it's something that I got that are in the way. And I'm wondering, what could that be? What could that be? And it's strange. We should everyone see the same.
Actually, can you? Oh, I know what it is. Can you go to your Revit links, please?
Yeah.
No. Sorry, just in the visibility graphics.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Here. Yeah.
And just for the shits and giggles, can we turn off the structural model?
Yeah.
And just press OK. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a generic model in the structural model.
That is in the way. Yep. Right. So okay. So but the strange thing is a generic model I'm gonna do. I'm gonna quickly do like this. It's something with the structural model. I'm gonna do reverse. Do like this. Double, because I just quickly checked those. Generic models, turn it on. Yeah, this one. But it should look, is the floor level different? I just need to double check this. Otherwise, we just do a sheeting and do just hide. I will just hide the structural model. I can actually see how I kind of do it when I play around. Go here, section box. I want to go through. I'm gonna get the huge box. Brilliant. I'm just gonna go through something like this. And I go. They're low. They have something with their floors. See this one.
Mm-hmm.
Their floors are not correct with the architect ones. Okay,
Right.
what I'm gonna do for now, I'm gonna hide the structural model and just leave it up. With that said as well, I'm gonna hide it, but I'm gonna pause here. I'm gonna take a 10-minute break.
Okay, let's do a 10-minute break.
And I see you, everyone here, back at 12 past.
Sounds good.
Brilliant. I'm gonna grab myself some coffee. See you in 10.
See you in 10.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
one more minute. Brilliant. It's 12 past. Everyone back? Janos? Norbert? Laura?
More 1 minute, please.
Yeah. No worries.
I'm back.
Brilliant. Laura, just give a holla when you're back.
It's okay.
Brilliant. Yes, Janos.
Misclick. I just wanted to send a wave, something like that.
Brilliant. So what I will do in this view, because we knew I'm gonna fix the structure model, we can go in here to the view template and go into Revit links and turn off the existing one for now. And just go OK. So go to the view template, the view properties, view template, and view views for sheets. VG override Revit links, turn off existing. And before the last thing we're going to do here is change the face filter from show all to new existing and press OK. And now, at least in my case, looks a bit better.
Sorry, could you please just repeat the face filter?
Yeah, so view templates, and we had the VG here, and we had the face filter kind of in the middle.
Right, okay,
parameter calls, yeah.
Right.
New and existing. And then just go with OK. And I'm doing the the other model here in on my left-hand side, so I'm multitasking. Brilliant.
Should you also set the view to a medium detail?
We can set it to a medium. We can, or if you want to do it, you can. If you don't, it's going to look like this. If you want, you can change it to medium. Yeah, why not? Doesn't hurt. Here's let's call it decisive. Some people like to have more detail. I know in Netherlands they love having seen this. I prefer to have it as just a solid white or solid gray or something. But we can leave it like this because right now it's still we don't have to kind of think about it. Okay, so brilliant. Now we kind of see our floor plan. We ignore that we don't have a core. I'm going to fix it in a second and update it so you can all download and replace it. And what we can do right now is we want to see what kind of rooms there are in the link. So we understand what kind of volumes we're talking about. This is quote unquote relatively easy because it is hotel, but in hotel lobbies, we want to know what the rooms are. And what we can do is we can go to the tab Annotate. And kind of in the middle of Annotate, we have Tag All. You're going to see 2 hexagons with number 1s in it. And that means we can tag all the rooms in the linked models. So we go to Tag All. All we need to do is to remember this. We have to do this once every time we open Revit because it's going to untick itself next time we close Revit. and try to do this, but tick include elements from linked file. And we see we have included a bunch of different tags, but if you scroll down, you will see room tags, and just tick that one and then press OK. And now we got a bunch of different tags from the rooms. So whatever the architect has actually named. So for instance, here we see they missed the name. It's called just room name, but we can see the difference, which I'm assuming this means kind of hotel room or something.
Guest room.
Guest room, yeah. We can see a bunch of different ones. But if you go down to another level, we will actually don't have any tags here. So we need to do this once. There are third-party applications. So for instance, something we sell, obviously, but Accelerate, where we can tag all the different views with one click. But that's third-party application that can do more. I will not use it because it's going to be good like this. Brilliant. One thing that we know is that when we are hotel rooms like this are, once again, quote unquote easy. But if you're going to go down to the basement, the lobby, we will often the times we want to know the area of a specific room. We want to know the area, and we might want to colorize the different spaces or areas. So because now I'm going to use kind of the same word for different things, so I will try to separate the same word for different things. Okay, so the architect is using rooms to place room and measure areas. But because we are not architects, we are engineers, we're going to use the engineering room, which is called space, which is different from IFC space, which is room. So I will call it kind of engineer rooms or space. That is what we're going to use. And we can find it under the tab Analyze. And just below it, we have space and zones. Do everyone have it? Olivier is not in. Janos, Laura. Brilliant. Brilliant. So if we didn't see it, it's because certain disciplines, Mercedes, brilliant. Certain disciplines are turned off otherwise. If you go into a computer, you can turn off different disciplines. You can kind of see here that you can see structure, you can see systems with some mechanical plumbing, but you can turn things off and that would turn off. If you press or select space and you start that command, the first thing I want you to do is go here on tag placement. It's going to look like this for you guys. Turn that off. We don't need it. If you hover inside, you can see, which is as well super strange that the architect has placed a space there because they shouldn't. But if you go inside, you can kind of see that it actually finds all those walls that you can kind of see a green boundary around the rooms when we move around our cursor. This works like this because we made the link room bounding. If you forgot to make the room bounding, it will look like this outside. If I move the cursor outside, you're going to get the right rectangle indicating it can't find walls or something to bound the different spaces. So I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place my space out here. And what you can see, it turns that area or space or volume green, indicating that there is a space there. We can't, well, we can, but we shouldn't place two spaces in the same area volume. If you would do accidentally, you get a warning like this. Multiple spaces are in the same enclosed region, correct, blah, blah, blah. It will not work. One of the spaces will then become kind of this rectangle as well, indicating it's something's very off. So never place two spaces within the same space. So always one space in one area space, and just go around, place it, and it will color the greens. As you can see, it still finds the structural model even though I turned it off. So it kind of behaves as the structural model are still here, because we made the structural model, the existing model, room bounding, it's here, it's understand this. Once we're finished, you press escape twice to kill it. And the green disappears, even the crosses that kind of indicates where you place it, the reference. If you hover above or around the area that you place, you can kind of see it pre-select that space. And we can now select it. The spaces have a bunch of different parameters that we're never going to use. If we go back, we go into properties. So for instance, as I said, it's a mechanical or a engineering room. We have parameters for lightnings, electrical loads, mechanical loads, all those things that they need to do their calculations. We don't, so we can't get rid of them, or they're there. But we have a few parameters. So for instance, here we have a bunch of different reaction to fire. If you want to add that we have a material requirement on doors, maybe not doors, but ceilings, floors, furniture, walls, because everything within this room needs to comply with those material requirements. And if we scroll down, all the way down here, we can go, keep on going. We have one parameter all the way in the bottom called fire requirement accommodation function. In your case right now, you have a bunch of different mumbo jumbo Swedish in that parameter here in the dropdown, which means nothing for you guys. So you can ignore those. There's our Swedish. We're going to write the same thing, but I'm going to write in English. Those means different things. It's just a preset of values that we have. And it's a text-based parameter, so we can write whatever we want. So for instance, it could be escape corridor. I'm going to move my cursor a little bit. So we can write escape corridor, this parameter, and move the cursor outside the properties, which will mean auto apply. And that will colorize the space into something. We can change the colors, obviously, so we can make these more the light green, and we can make staircases dark green, so we can kind of start getting these accommodation functions on the floor plan, so we know which is emergency lighting. We can write it should be sprinklers, it could be different staircases, you name it. You guys usually as well colorize different areas or rooms with different requirements?
Mostly heat and smoke ventilation or pressurized staircases.
That's brilliant, because we can colorize different as well. I'm going to select actually this space again. What we have done here in the Swedish one, we even started here adding more parameters, mainly for one reason, and that is as we've started to get this more normalized, that FireNet uses Revit, we added more and more parameters from the documentation, the strategy, to adding more information. So for instance, we have added in the Swedish one a parameter called shaft, kind of what you mentioned, but what this meant is basically, okay, should this be a closed shaft or an open shaft? What kind of criteria are we setting? Suppression system is the sprinklers, alarm zones, and you can, of course, the mechanical as well. You can just add a parameter, smoky sauce area. You can add this and kind of colorize it. You just create the parameters, and we can use it in colorizing different drawings. And of course, why kind of showcase this from the beginning, we can check what area these are. and because we have perimeter area here. I know here everyone does a little bit different, but Revit will always check the interior area, meaning the inside of the room, space, volume. It will check that one. Some want to check to the facade, have the calculation from the facade. Revit doesn't do that out of the box with rooms, but this is kind of indicating how large that rooms are. But when we calculate an area of a compartment, it is not only one room. Usually the case there are several rooms within that area. I placed two, this one and this one. We can select several by holding down the control key on your keyboard, and we can select several spaces. Once those are selected, we can go back to the Analyze tab, and to the far right-hand side, we have something called zone. A zone is a combination or a pack of spaces. In this case, 2 spaces. And you press cancel for this one. But now, depending how many spaces you selected, you will get a kind of a spider web of lines of all those combined. And we have a few parameters on zone as well. But the most important thing here would be the area. So you can take X amount of spaces, combine them, and see the total area of all those as one object. And we have it here. I never heard anyone in continental Europe use it, but in the US, in UK, in Dubai, UAE, it's very important that they show occupancy with the floor space factor. How do you do in Hungary? Or you just rely on the architect, kind of how many people it should be there?
Mostly we count by the furniture.
So it's kind of different. Otherwise, you can calculate that each person within these kind of rooms should have 2 square meters and just divide. It's just a quick formula. But we can do that as well using these kind of zones. And then you can obviously place a tag that reads this information, so it's live. In Revit 25 and earlier, if you want to colorize, let's say, these 2 rooms with the same, a lot of people think that the first thing that people think are that we can use the zones instead to start colorizing. And theoretically, you are correct, but Autodesk hate these zones, so they didn't give these zones any love until 2026, when they actually redid zones. And before 2026, they are super buggy if you want to colorize them. They kind of just stop working. The area is correct, but it sometimes just drops some rooms or spaces. It's still kind of part of it, but it doesn't colorize it because of reasons. So it's very buggy. I haven't used 2026 with the new HVAC or the new zones, but hopefully it's better because they actually removed this one and just called it zones. So they kind of redid the entire tool itself, and hopefully it's less buggy. And we're going to check as more projects, real projects, start in 26. We're going to see if it works. We have a few customers actually going to help us try, but as we speak right now, no project has started in 26 in a massive scale, so I haven't tried it out. It works in our demo files, but that means nothing. But hopefully we can start using it. But as for now, we think of the spaces and individually create the zone to mainly do the area, and if you want to tag them, use that for tagging, and it works fine. Colorizing, don't use it. Last thing I was going to say about the space are that under Analyze and next to space, we have something called space separator. So when when we have a room, let's say corridor here, and we just want to do, let's say, a suppression system on half of it. It's going to be strange to have half on this one, but if we want to separate something, we can always draw space separators, meaning we can separate a room by just drawing a line. So the lines kind of indicates that the rooms or space should stop here. And as you can see, it kind of behaves as a wall. So this is kind of, as you can think of, every modern, I would say, apartment has this. You go into a hallway, then you come into somewhat of a corridor, maybe an open kitchen. They are like unseen boundaries where things are. And this is kind of how we do it. We don't have to have a wall to separate rooms into different parts. Same here. We can use these lines to kind of chop off or all off these different spaces into smaller parts, and we can colorize them. And obviously, once we've done that, the 77 square meters are now 46 area. So it's adapts. Everything is smart. I'm gonna delete you, and it's back. Brilliant. So we've gone pretty far without even touching Bimfire. Which is also good. Let's jump into Bimfire. So, have everyone played, or has everyone have a default installation package of Bimfire? Like default, nothing changed.
There are a few projects I tried to make in Bimfire.
And that's fine. It's more of so I know that's good, because I just wanted so I know kind of what everyone sees. So as you can see, mine is going to look a little bit different than yours, and that's as well fine. But we're going to start from the left-hand side and kind of here, where I have a bunch of numbers. Basically, this is the UK one. They don't talk about EI, REI. They don't use that. They use 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 120 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hour, etc. But all these different buttons are just predefined from what we call wall settings. So I'm going to open this one, and mine is blank because Bimfire doesn't find the UK versions of these requirements. In the drop down for each and every one of these slots, so we have 6 slots, you will actually see a bunch of different requirements that we have in Swedish, from 15 to 4 hours, even 6 hours, sorry. And you can kind of just select whatever requirement that you're going to use in that project. It doesn't really matter which order you're using, but you can go here like EI 30. I'm going to go with 60. Why not 2 hours, 120 EI? You don't have to do all of them. Do some, you press save. Once you've done that, the buttons update automatically. So kind of refresh. And obviously you can change at any point. The ones that you didn't define, you get a dash, meaning it's undefined. So in my case, I have 3 defined, 3 undefined, but you can add it. And once you've done it, Revit will remember that till the end of days, and you can have the same setup forever. And what you see in the drop down are basically only what's called, it's very technical, but it is a Revit family that are either the category 5 protection or audiovisual devices, and it's line based, meaning we can draw a line. So you can kind of create your own. So it's open source or open for anyone to do whatever they want. The requirements that you see up there, the buttons, you can go there and click on those, but it's not meant to go there clicking because it's going to take a lot of time changing tab all the time. So what I recommend everyone is to create their own keyboard shortcuts for this. That's why we have those as buttons, because we can keyboard shortcut all those. And how we create our own keyboard shortcuts is super simple. We go to the tab View. We go to the far right-hand side. We have User Interface. And then on the very, very bottom, keyboard shortcuts. And that's on another screen. Here you have every command in Revit you have here. If I go to Filter, here you can see every tab that Revit has loaded. We can select the one that has not parentheses, but brackets, that's the word, and N and Bimfire tab, and that will list all the buttons here in Bimfire. Here we're going to see differently. Janos, because you started playing around, you will see one set of things. If you played with wall settings, I will have a second one, and everyone else might have a third and fourth and fifth. But it's the same for everyone, and that is on the top, you got new projects, which was here in Bimfire. Then you got always, if you don't change anything, slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These command names are loaded when Revit's open. So if you could close Revit and reopen it, what we have selected would appear here. But as I know, this is slot 1. I have W1 for wall 1 for that one. So you can type whatever you want. So I will type E1. And you can just say assign, and that will appear here as a command. And by doing so, I just went W1, W2, W3, 4, and 5, and W6, assign. Now my last slot has the keyboard. So I recommend do some kind of keyboard shortcut. It will help you a lot. I will start by clicking, but we go to OK. And now we can just go around. If you made a keyboard shortcut, you can hover above a button. You will see the parenthesis, W2 in my case. If you have something else, you will see the different keyboard shortcuts here. If there is no keyboard shortcuts, it will just say the name and no parenthesis. But otherwise, keyboard shortcut or click and just go around placing. And I see it becomes a black line. You finish by pressing escape twice. Everyone got the same-ish?
It's red for me.
Is red for you?
Yes.
Brilliant. Olivier, is red or black?
Oh, on my end, it's black.
Yeah. Laura, red or black?
Red.
Red. Mercedes? Red or black?
Mercedes microphone is not working, maybe. I don't know. Sorry.
So, but I can tell you I lost where I were here, brilliant. So the black and red depends on you guys, Laura, Janos, or if I'm assuming Mercedes got red as well. You have the show all here on the face filter. And me and Olivier has the new and existing. So what they have done here said, okay, new should be overridden with a black line. At least we two, Olivier, we're going to remove it. We don't want that. We want original color, but anything else they've changed, it will be fine. We just want original color, no changing. So we will jump into the tab Manage and go to Faces. This is a little bit overkill for starting like the first time you see it. No worries about this. Faces, and we had the face filter here. Here we can see a new and existing that it has overridden. And we go back to graphics. New, here, remove the color. Clear, no override on color. No override on color. That one was way too fast, sorry. No, all right on color. Okay, and here, color, no override. Okay. Pattern, I will leave as it is right now and just check. Okay. And now it becomes red. So their line size will be the same, meaning if they've used any kind of from dash to solid line, we will do that as well. But red, now it sees as red, at least mine. Same here. You can now use kind of keyboard shortcuts for everything and just start placing. You can see like this. Go around placing. Double click on escape. You kind of fix those. Sorry, to end the command. So keyboard shortcuts, once again, if you set one, W2, place where you can, and then just press escape twice. You can double click on escape to finish that command. And you can kind of place. What's recommended is what's going to happen is, obviously, when we are placing, we're going to do kind of misclicks. Keep on placing, and then just go back and delete those that ought to be changed. I will place something here as well. So kind of. We don't have to do everything, obviously. We will just do a few now to start. So, okay. Did I place here? So it's going to look something like this when we're starting placing it. It can look kind of chopped up. What we're doing are actually we're placing a requirement on each and every component. I know Janos, and for Laura and for Mercedes, you have a dashed line. We have a solid line because we had the override. We can remove that as well. I will remove it here on phases. Override the dash here, the solid line. We just clear the override on everything and just go back. So we have exactly the same. But you can kind of see that it's chopped up like this. And that is because we are actually adding a requirement and mimicking every wall as the architect has drawn it. So here, we would never design like this. We would basically just, I would create one of those and create similar. We would kind of do like, okay, this line should go from here all the way here, make those walls work. That is kind of how we usually do it. But when we are placing, we're actually placing on each and every part, however the architect has done it. What I usually do like this, like here, I actually go to modify and use something called align to just make it look a little bit better. You can make it kind of as a straight line, even though it is connected to the small part out there in this scenario. And we can kind of starting making our drawing look a little bit better like that. Of just don't be afraid of moving them if you need to. You can move them, align them to make it look more traditional. Because even though I would added a requirement, I will add something crazy. I will add it crazy. I will add something on this one. I can actually move this one over here, and if that would be fine. This one is still connected to this wall. Theoretically, I could put you over here and make you like this. It's just my component that I'm changing, but this one is connected with the global unique ID to this wall. So the connection, so we can send the information, are still here. Everyone on board of that? Brilliant. So if you kind of, let's call it, loses a component, in this case, my kind of wall compartments, like I find it here, I select it and like, okay, you connected to something. What are you connected to? We can always go back to Bimfire, an audit trail, press reset. That is literally just go back to your original component and kind of redo yourself. So we can always go reset. Are you sure? I'm sure. And it's back where I placed it. But in this case, there wouldn't be a requirement on the bathroom door. So I would press delete. It shouldn't be there. So you can always delete it. And it's not connected. It's gone from the database and everything like that. Any questions so far? But walls? Nothing? That's brilliant. The last thing I just wanted to show about walls right now. We're going to circle back a little bit in a moment, but it's always going to be scenarios where we want to kind of, as we kind of align these ones, that they are in a straight line, we can always as well change and move them around. We should always fix so it looks good on the drawings, and we can use the built-in features that are like trim corners, extend. Has anyone here been working with AutoCAD or any other CAD software? With
AutoCAD?
Yeah. Everyone else as well? Maybe have been tinkering in AutoCAD or something like this? Yeah, seems I'm nodding. Revit has the same features as AutoCAD does. Like if I can open it as well, so you can see it, but I can open it in a second. These modify tabs are the same in AutoCAD as in Revit, like they do the same. But Autodesk, creators of Revit and AutoCAD, decided that in Revit, they work exactly reversed as in AutoCAD. So, for instance, if you go to the tab Modify, go to the one that's called Trim Corner. It's next to the right of the rotating symbol. In AutoCAD, we click on the line that we want to remove. So we would go here. In AutoCAD, we would click on this side and remove this corner. In Revit, it's reverse. So we want to keep this one and this one. And that can trim everything. And we want to keep this one and this one. And we can start trim and fixing so it kind of looks good. In AutoCAD, I'm just going to start one. So you have the same here. Same modify. And they quote unquote works the same, but only reverse. But you have all the same features here. So if you're familiar with these, you find them as well under modify in Revit. So kind of have the same features here. I will close AutoCAD again. One thing, we are right on schedule. The second thing I want to do before we're going to go into the deep end we can find here under Bimfire and openings. Do you guys usually write with text, or do you use a symbol for opening requirements?
You usually use a symbol that got the text in it.
Okay. So basically what this is just very simple. It's a text-based parameter or text-based family that's going to write a text that looks like, well, it looks like a text, but it's actually a 3D component. If we jump here to opening settings, once again, I've been demoing in the UK, FD for fire door. But if you want, you can actually start having superscript or subscripts characters. So for instance, if you want to write EI60, E60, EW30, if you want to write with, I gotta go here and have like a smoke, like S, and you can go, if you're familiar with this one, are you guys familiar with this one? Very nerdy. How to get this one, this dialog box? Nope, I can, at least Olivier is not familiar with it.
Just tell
From
us.
Windows. Yeah, if you go with the flag, start and the not comma but punctuation, not punctuation. The what's it even called?
Dot.
The dot.
Right.
You will open this dialog box, and you find emojis. You find GIFs in 20 Windows 11. I think GIFs came here. And you got cow emojis if you want to use those. You have everything like up front, but you got the mathematical symbol here. And my recent are here, obviously, but you can kind of go to the left to math symbols, I think it is. And you have all the subscripts and everything kind of close here. And I will just write maybe not S200, but I will write 200, but subscript. But you have everything here. You can write it as it should be. So you find most of the symbols there as well. And yeah, here you can write whatever you want. Emojis, you can write text, any kind of opening requirements that you want to enter. And once you think you're finished or feel you're finished with this, you can always change later on as well. Same with here. We have 6 slots. You can change, and we go to save after you saved it. And once it's saved, we have our new symbols, and just select whatever you need and you start placing it. Whether it's on a door, can I find a window perhaps? Can't find any window. Here's the window. There's over there a window down here. Here's the window. Brilliant. So this is the Swedish one of the old Swedish ones. I usually prefer the one that we use in Norway and in Finland and Germany for that matter, which is basically just a text. I don't like this diamond, so we have a text-based. So I'm gonna once again as well after lunch can just place that, because this one is basically if you take a look here, if you select once you placed it, it's a 3D symbol, but with basically a parameter called FireRec fire rating door, and for Windows is FireRec fire rating window. But this parameter based or text based, so if you want to change something and say this should be with door closer because it's a hotel, you can just change the text in the parameter, and the text will update here. You can't sadly click here in the text here. You have to change it here. And that is just the nature of how the family and how Reddit behaves. And that is because we are trying to create, not trying, that is because we created a 3D door symbol. Why you can't do it. But otherwise, it's just, you can only select what's categorized as doors or windows, and you can just click on those and nothing else. Same here, if you mistakenly click on something that shouldn't have a requirement, just escape twice and just delete it, and it's gone from the model. Everyone managed to place some door symbols, door and window symbols? Brilliant. Laura, Mercedes, good. We're gonna do a bit more, but this is as far as I was planning on going to today, this morning, and we're gonna do repetitively work in this afternoon. Yeah, and we quit or finish 5 minutes early. There's no point of starting something now when it's only 5 minutes. So we're going to push it till afternoon. I'm going to pause the recording for now. I'm going to stop the screen, pause the recording. Yeah, Janos?
So you mentioned you are okay if we personalize the wall looking for the things.
Oh, yeah.
So we really like to set a different color and text for our section boundaries. So is it okay if we just do a new material subcategory? Okay.
We can go through that. We can at least touch base with it. I can show you how we do it and how it's not that difficult. And yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. So we have that recorded as well. Stop recording, and